you're born in Latina, no?
No, in Inghilterra,
Ok.
però sono andato
Elementari
scuola elementare per 3 mesi in un piccolo paese sulle montagne in Latina.
Do you remember the name now?
Sì, Lenola, vicino Terracina.
Ah, Terracina, yeah, sure.
Sì.
It's like an hour from Rome.
Yeah,
In the
basically.
southern side.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. Hello everyone, I'm Andrea. I'm representing here Weird Side. We organize shows in Rome, emo, indie, punk, since 2021. I'm glad today to collaborate with the brothers from Warm Room Collective. Please make some noise for Warm Room Collective. They did an amazing job this year. Huge job this year. And now we're here with Lakes from UK. So make some noise from Lakes. Let's go! Yeah. Hot. And if you want to introduce yourselves and the band.
All right, so we have Mr. Marcus Guda, plays guitar.
Oh.
Kat Rowland, vocals, keyboards, and I'm the Italian representative of the band. I'm Roberto.
Let's go. Do you want to say something about the genesis of the band? Something
Sure.
for who doesn't know?
Yeah, okay. So there are usually 6 of us, sometimes 7. This is
An
our...
orchestra.
Yeah, basically. So Matthew, our drummer, myself, and Rob, our other guitarist who isn't here, we used to play in bands together in our hometown of Watford, which is just north of London, years ago. It was quite a big hardcore punk emo scene, like in the early 2000s. We were all like still in school. And then life kind of got in the way. University, starting families, getting married, and then it wasn't until the second American football album that Matthew got in touch with me. He just messaged me one day out of the blue, and he was like, look, I've written these acoustic demos. They don't have any names, but rather than calling them Demo 1, Demo 2, Demo 3, I've named them all after lakes. Will you write some vocals? So I was like, yeah, sure. So it just started off with the 2 of us. And then we were like, oh, let's make this a full band thing. Let's play a show. And then we recruited the rest of the guys. We've had a few lineup changes over the years. So Marcus joined us the end of last year. Kat's been with us for, so coming up like 18 months. And yeah, we're 3 albums in, and we're very happy to be here.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay. And
Enamo.
no. Questo è romano perché non. So you've come here from yesterday morning. That's right. And you saw lots of bands playing yesterday, the whole day. You probably have seen some organization dynamics, and I would like to ask you something about that, maybe considerations, and then if you can compare the DIY scene in Italy, considering that this is one of the hugest DIY festival
Sure.
on the territory, and the DIY scene in the UK from.
Sure. Well, do you want to take this, Kat? Yeah.
I think it's so cool that there's like this big space for it here. I think, the sort of DIY scene in the UK is a bit it's quite small, and in terms of like spaces for gigs, it's sort of quite few and far between, and like quite spread out across the country. So London, for example, used to have like a DIY space for some years, but then closed down, unfortunately. So it's quite hard to find like specific spaces, but there is like a sort of online community, especially on like Discord. There are quite a lot of emo bands, and it's like quite a lot of people on there that chat and organize shows together and things. So there's like it feels like there's some community as well. But I guess it doesn't like manifest quite like this. We don't have these sorts of spaces, so it's really nice to see, like, just how this can be, and like, community scenes and stuff. We have sort of some similar things as well, but it feels like it's smaller and there are less spaces for it. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, just to echo really what's been said. This kind of thing doesn't really exist in the UK, where people will come together. I mean, there will be like all dayers of events, but nothing really with the same dedication and passion over like a few days. Spots have popped up, and collectives do try and do things, but whether people grow up and move out of the scene or move on, there's never been so much like a long lifeblood in it. So, but it's fantastic. As Kat said, with things like Discord, it sort of harkens back to the old internet message boards, like years and years ago.
It's only
people,
the discussion online.
Share resources and planning and stuff. And I guess to put it into perspective, so I'm from a place called Norwich in the UK, and Algae Bloom here were yesterday, and they're from Norwich as well, talking about all the venues that I've played, they've played, and it's just amazing how this scene has cultivated two people from a really tiny town in England to come to Europe. It's mad.
That's right. So basically, you're saying that what you see here is bigger than what
it's a lot
you
more
find in the UK. Yeah. Maybe because small bands in here have less perspective, and then the community grows because there's a very big gap between DIY bands, underground bands, and famous band in Italy. So we just need this to live. Your album written and released during the pandemic, so very scary times, very strange times. And I know there's a peculiar story behind, so you can tell whatever you want about.
Roberta will take this one, because Marcus and I joined after start
sure,
again. So
sure. So Genesis, composing, releasing.
Yeah.
Everything.
So you mentioned before about logistics. Because there are 6, sometimes 7 of us. We have always lived in WhatsApp. Some of us have families. We've all got full-time jobs, but we've always tended to work like 6 months to a year ahead of time. Otherwise, we'd get nothing done. So we'd demoed Start Again, and we at the point of demoing it, we actually had the opportunity to work with a guy in the States called Neil Strauch, who had produced some of our favourite records. Like, he'd worked on some Owen records and some Joan of Arc records, and we were like, we need to make this happen. And then, the whole world shut down, but we just ploughed through. And so Matt had a friend who owned a dance studio. He basically commandeered it for a period of time, and I would go and visit him and like record bits of guitars and stuff. And then we sent all of the stems to Neil in the States. He mixed and mastered it. But so it obviously affected everyone that period of time. And I guess in terms of like themes, like in isolation, you have a lot of time to reflect, and you go up here a little bit, and it's not a lot. Our music is generally quite upbeat, and the lyrics for that particular record are quite dark. So there's a bit of a contrast. And it was the first record we put out with our label Big Scary Monsters.
Sure. That's an example of how music, in this case, but arts, can help to overcome difficulties like a pandemic, and that's pretty cool, because maybe lots of bands share the same meaning you probably gave to this album. One of my band too. We released our first album during the pandemic, and that was quite strange.
Because during that time, like, people don't, you're thinking like people don't need vinyl records; they need food and like water and stuff. They need to be able to work. And there's like that part of you that's like, should we be doing this now? But it was almost like for our own sanity, we had to see it through, and that's part of the fun, the process of seeing it through. And it was a blast.
Probably during a pandemic emergency, music and art reach the main shape. So just being loved and keeping company to the individuals.
And actually, like during that time, I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I was definitely listening to a lot of music I listened to as a teenager, kind of going back and like rediscovering like Deftones, not rediscovering Deftones, but you know what I mean? Like, listening to stuff I hadn't listened to for ages. And it's almost like, self-discovery and rediscovering who you are. As a means of catharsis, that's what the record was for us.
A lot of free time to concentrate.
Yeah, sure. For sure.
You told me that there's new music coming in July.
Yeah. So
let's talk about it.
Yeah. We've just been in the studio. We've recorded 3 songs. We're releasing one in a month's time, and then the other 2 we're gonna drip feed over the next year. We've already demoed the next record. One of the songs features, the band TTNG. Hank, the singer,
make some noise, guys.
He plays the broom on one of the songs. So basically, to give you some context, it's an acoustic song, and instead of using a shaker, our drummer Matt had this harebrained idea of using a broom instead of a shaker, and who better than Hank to do it?
Wow, wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Yeah, I bet you weren't.
Let's go.
But the song that we're releasing, we're probably gonna. We're gonna play it this evening.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. And it's Kat's first, both Kat and Marcus's first Lakes song that we're releasing.
Oh, that's cool. If you wanna say something about you, you joined the band and then start composing, like the main members. So
it's been a journey. I mean, when I first joined, I was mainly focusing on learning all the songs primarily. Just like in the background for a few months, and then last year was the release of Elysian Skies. So we did a lot of touring around that. Now has been more the chance to kind of focus on writing. So that's we're kind of our focus at the moment for the next record, and Stitches is first song that's going to be out, and it's a bit of I think it's a bit of an emotional one about like relationships and just sort of like things breaking down a bit and like looking back on that, and it's kind of a bit about kind of growing through hard times as well. So it's certainly not kind of like doom and gloom song. There's like positivity through it as well. There's more to come from that, but I'll that's all I'll say on that for now.
Okay. If you want to add something, and
I do have a guitar solo. Yeah, that was fun.
What do you expect from that?
Me and Kat sort of do a riff off together, don't we? Sort of a piano and guitar in unison, which is very fun.
Let's go.
I'm really excited for it. Just to embarrass everyone on stage and the other members of the band. I feel very, very lucky to have joined Lakes, because I was a big fan before joining. My other band played with them, and I've seen them like loads of times. Just to get the opportunity to come on board and do some silly riffs and put out music through Big Scary Monsters, which is my favourite record label.
Yeah, sure.
I've been listening to them.
They
pretty much curated my entire listening habits in my 20s, so so stoked to do that. And the Lakes are lovely, lovely people, and thanks for having me along for the ride. It's awesome.
Make some noise for the lovely people. Always being lovely. This scene is made of lovely people. Okay. Why lakes? What's the meaning behind water?
Well, why lakes? I mentioned before. So Matt, the genesis of the band is Matt's demos. Rather than naming them, it's just a naming convention. So rather than calling the demos Demo 1, Demo 2, he just named them after lakes.
Oh, cool.
So like the first record, every song is named after a lake, and we were gonna see it through for the rest of our albums, but we like to break the rules.
Let's go. You always mention Como lakes.
Sorry.
In Constance.
Yes, Como. Como, yeah, Great Lake. That's a great lake.
Yeah. Okay, so make some noise from lakes. They are going to play at 9 o'clock. Like, really sure? Is it true? Yeah. And okay, so enjoy.
Grazie mille.